Ambassador Lisa Morgan sat in her chair on the bridge of the USS Liberty. The ship moved quietly through space, heading back to Earth after a routine diplomatic mission. She was tired from the long meetings with alien leaders. Lisa hoped to get some rest before they reached home. Captain John Parker walked over to her. He was a tall man with gray hair and kind eyes. "Ambassador, we're getting an urgent message from the Galactic Council," he said. His voice sounded worried. Lisa sat up straight. The Galactic Council never sent urgent messages unless something was very wrong. "Put it on the main screen," she said. The screen lit up with the face of High Counselor Vexthara. The alien was tall and thin, with skin that looked like blue crystal. His eyes were cold and showed no emotion. When he spoke, his voice was hard and mean. "People of Earth," Vexthara said, "I speak for the Galactic Council. We have made a decision about your species. You have become too dangerous. You expand too fast. You fight too much. You threaten the peace of our galaxy." Lisa felt her heart beat faster. This did not sound good. She looked at Captain Parker, who was frowning. "The Council has decided," Vexthara continued. "You have exactly 72 hours to leave all your colonies outside the Sol system. Every human must return to Earth. You will stay there forever. You will never leave your home system again." Lisa stood up from her chair. "What? That's impossible. We have over 400 million people living on 17 different worlds. We can't move them all in 3 days." But Vexthara was not finished. "If any human remains outside Earth's solar system after 72 hours, we will consider it an act of war. We will destroy every human settlement. We will destroy every human ship. This is your only warning." The screen went dark. The bridge was silent for a moment. Then everyone started talking at once. "Sir, what do we do?" asked Lieutenant Tom Brady, the communications officer. Captain Parker rubbed his face with his hands. "Get me Admiral Sullivan at Fleet Command, Priority 1. And Lisa, we need to send word to all the colonies right now." While they waited for the connection to Earth, Lisa thought about all the people who would be affected. There were farmers on New Dakota, miners on Kepler Prime, and families on dozens of worlds. How could they possibly evacuate everyone in just 3 days? The screen came alive again. This time it showed Admiral Kate Sullivan, the head of Earth's space fleet. She was a strong woman with short black hair and sharp eyes. She had been a soldier for 30 years. "Admiral," Captain Parker said, "we have a serious problem." They told her everything about the alien ultimatum. Admiral Sullivan's face got harder as she listened. When they finished, she was quiet for a long time. 400 million people," she said finally. 72 hours. It's impossible." "What are our options?" Lisa asked. Admiral Sullivan looked at some papers on her desk. "We have 847 ships in the entire human fleet. That includes everything from big battleships to small patrol boats. Even if we used every ship, we couldn't move that many people in 3 days." On the farming world of New Dakota, Ben Davis was working in his fields. The corn was growing well. This year, his daughter Amy was helping him fix a broken irrigation pipe. She was 23 years old and strong from years of farm work. "Dad, look at that sunset," Amy said. The sky was painted orange and pink. Ben smiled. "Beautiful. Just like when your mother was alive. She would have loved to see this." They had no idea that their peaceful life was about to change forever. All across human space, people were living normal lives. Children played in parks. Workers built new cities. Scientists made discoveries. None of them knew about the alien threat. Back on the Liberty, Captain Parker got more bad news. "Sir, we're detecting ships at the edge of human space. Lots of them." "How?" "Many?" Lisa asked. Over 3,000 alien vessels. They're from 12 different species. The Zephyrians brought their biggest warships. The Krulon have hundreds of attack ships. There are species we don't even recognize. Admiral Sullivan's voice came through the speakers. I'm calling an emergency meeting of the Earth Defense Council. President Collins, Defense Secretary Thompson, and General Brooks will all be there. We need to make a decision fast. Lisa looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, an alien army was waiting to destroy everything humans had built. Admiral, what do you think we should do? Admiral. Sullivan was quiet for a moment. I think we need to consider all our options. But I'll tell you one thing. I've been fighting for humanity for 30 years. I'm not going to stop now. The ship's alarm started ringing. Captain, Lieutenant Brady called out, we're getting emergency signals from all the colonies. They're asking for orders. Captain Parker looked at Lisa. What do we tell them? Lisa thought about Ben Davis and his daughter Amy. She thought about all the families who had made new lives on distant worlds. She thought about the children who had never seen Earth. We tell them the truth, she said. And we tell them that humanity doesn't abandon its people. The Liberty changed course toward Earth. Behind them, the alien fleet waited in the darkness of space. The countdown had begun. In less than 3 days, humanity would face its greatest challenge. Admiral Sullivan was already gathering the human fleet, 847 ships against 3,000. The odds were terrible. But humans had faced bad odds before. On New Dakota, Ben Davis looked up at the stars one more time before going inside. He had no idea that by tomorrow, he would be preparing to fight for his home. The ultimatum had been delivered. Now humanity had to decide how to respond. The emergency meeting room on Earth was full of worried faces. President Mary Collins sat at the head of the table. She was a calm woman who had led Earth through many difficult times. Next to her sat Defense Secretary Rick Thompson and General Steve Brooks. Admiral Sullivan stood in front of a large screen showing the alien fleet. The numbers were frightening. 3,012 ships, she said. That's more than 3 times our entire fleet. What about evacuation? President Collins asked. Can we get our people out? General Brooks shook his head. We ran the numbers. Even if we used every transport ship, cargo vessel, and passenger liner, we could maybe move 50 million people. That leaves over 300 million still on the colonies. Defense Secretary Thompson looked at his tablet. The alien fleet has ships from 12 different species. The Zephyrians alone have 200 warships. Each one is bigger than our largest battleship. Captain Parker's voice came through the speakers from the Liberty. We're ready to return to the alien fleet with our answer. What should we tell them? President Collins looked around the table. Everyone was quiet. Finally, she spoke. We cannot abandon 400 million people. We won't abandon them. Admiral Sullivan nodded. I agree. Captain Parker, tell Ambassador Morgan to prepare our response. We're going to reject their ultimatum. On the Liberty, Ambassador Morgan was writing humanity's answer. She chose her words carefully. The message had to be firm, but not insulting. She knew that what she wrote might start a war. To High Counselor Vexthara and the Galactic Council, she began. Humanity cannot and will not abandon our citizens. We have built our colonies legally and peacefully. We have harmed no one. We reject your ultimatum completely. Captain Parker read the message. That's going to make them angry. Good, Lisa said. Maybe they'll realize we're not going to be pushed around. On New Dakota, Ben Davis got the emergency message on his communicator. His face went white as he read it. Amy saw his expression. Change. Dad, what's wrong? Ben showed her the message. The aliens want us to leave. They want everyone to go back to Earth. If we don't, they'll attack us. Amy looked around at their farm. The corn was almost ready to harvest. Their house had been built by her grandfather. We're not leaving, are we? No, Ben said. This is our home. We're not going anywhere. All across the colony, people were making the same choice. They had worked too hard to build their lives here. They would fight to keep them. Back on Earth, Admiral Sullivan was planning for war. She stood in the Fleet Command Center, looking at screens showing every human ship in space. It was not nearly enough. Admiral, said Captain Jake Morrison, commander of the battleship USS Defiance. His image appeared on the screen. The crew is ready for battle. What are your orders? All ships are to converge on the Kepler system, Admiral Sullivan said. That's where we'll make our stand. If the aliens want to fight, we'll give them one. Commander Linda Hayes spoke from her frigate squadron. Admiral, my ships are fast but lightly armed. How do you want us to fight those big alien ships? Hit and run attacks, Admiral Sullivan replied. Use your speed. Get in close, fire everything you have, then get out fast. We can't match their firepower, so we have to be smarter. Dr. Helen Carter was working in her laboratory. She was Earth's best military scientist. Her team was studying everything they knew about alien technology. They had to find a weakness. The aliens use energy shields, she told her assistant, but our kinetic weapons and nuclear missiles might be able to get through. They're not used to fighting weapons like ours. What about their communication system? Asked her assistant. Dr. Carter looked at the data. They use quantum entanglement to coordinate their fleet. If we could disrupt that, they would have trouble working together. Meanwhile, Captain Parker took the Liberty back to the alien fleet. Ambassador Morgan was nervous but determined. She had to deliver humanity's refusal to surrender. The alien flagship was enormous. It was 10 times bigger than the Liberty. When they docked, Morgan was escorted to a large room where High Counselor Vex Thara waited. Ambassador Morgan, the alien said. His voice was cold. I trust you have come to accept our generous offer. I have come to deliver humanity's response, Morgan said. She stood straight and looked the alien in the eye. We reject your ultimatum. We will not abandon our people. We will not retreat to Earth. Vex Thara's crystal-like face showed no emotion. You would choose war over peace. You would. Sacrifice your entire species? We would choose freedom over slavery, Morgan replied. Humanity has the right to exist freely in this galaxy. We have done nothing wrong. You expand too quickly. You are too aggressive. You threaten the natural order. We are pioneers and explorers. We seek new worlds and new opportunities. That is not a crime. Vex Thara stood up. He was very tall and looked down at Morgan. You have made your choice. The consequences will be severe. So be it, Morgan said. Humanity will not surrender. She returned to the Liberty, knowing that war was now certain. Captain Parker set course for Earth as fast as the ship could fly. The alien fleet began to move. 3,000 ships started advancing toward human space. They would blockade every human world. They would cut off all trade and communication between the colonies. On Earth, Admiral Sullivan watched the alien movement on her screens. They're forming a blockade. They want to starve us out before they attack. How long do we have? President Collins asked. Maybe a week before they reach our defensive positions. We need to get every ship to the Kepler system. That's where we'll fight. Captain Morrison on the USS Defiance was already moving toward the battle zone. His ship was one of humanity's most powerful, but it was still much smaller than the alien. Warships. Sir, his weapons officer said, we're getting reports from the colonies. They're forming militia groups. The people are ready to fight. On New Dakota, Amy Davis was helping organize the local defense force. Most of them were farmers and miners, but they knew how to use weapons. They would defend their homes. "We have hunting rifles and some old military weapons," she told her father. "It's not much, but it's something." Ben cleaned his rifle carefully. "Your grandfather fought in the war on Earth. He always said that fighting for your home gives you strength." Dr. Carter made a breakthrough in her research. She found a way to disrupt the alien communication system, but it would require getting very close to their command ship. "We need to plant a device on their flagship," she told Admiral Sullivan. "It will blind their entire fleet." "That's a suicide mission," the Admiral said. "Maybe, but it might be our only chance to win." The human fleet was gathering at Kepler. 847 ships against 3,000. The odds were terrible, but humanity had decided to fight. Ambassador Morgan returned to Earth with news that the aliens had rejected any compromise. War was coming, whether humanity wanted it or not. "At least we know where we stand," Admiral Sullivan said. "No more diplomatic games. Now we fight." The countdown continued. In just 2 days, the alien ultimatum would expire. Both sides were preparing for the largest space battle in galactic history. Humanity was outnumbered and outgunned, but they had something the aliens did not understand. They had the determination to fight for their freedom, no matter the cost. The alien blockade was complete. 3,000 ships surrounded human space like a giant net. No ships could get in or out. The colonies were cut off from Earth and from each other. Admiral Sullivan stood in the command center watching the screens. Red dots showed alien ships at every jump point. Human space was trapped. "Admiral," said Captain Morrison from the USS Defiance, "my ship is approaching the Kepler system. I can see the alien fleet in the distance." "How many?" Admiral Sullivan asked. "Too many to count. The big Zephyrian ships are in the center. The Krulan swarm ships are spread out like a cloud. I've never seen anything like it." On the alien flagship, High Counselor Vexthara met with his military commanders. Admiral Thokmar of the Zephyrian fleet was a huge creature with 4 arms and thick armor. Queen Commander Zakth of the Krulan was insect-like with sharp claws and black eyes. "The humans have rejected our generous offer," Vexthara said. "They choose war over peace. We will give them war." Admiral Thokmar's voice was deep and rumbling. "My ships are ready. We can crush their fleet in one attack." "No," said Queen Commander Zakht. Her voice was like buzzing insects. "Let them suffer first. Cut off their supplies. Make them watch their colonies starve." "The blockade is working," Vexthara agreed. "Soon they will beg for mercy." But they did not understand humans. On New Dakota, Ben Davis was not begging for mercy. He was teaching his neighbors how to fight. "The aliens think we'll give up if they make things hard for us," he told a group of farmers. "They don't know us very well." Amy Davis was setting up communication networks. Even though the aliens had cut off long-range communications, the colonists could still talk to each other on the planet. "We need to coordinate our defenses," she said. "If the aliens land troops, we have to be ready." "What? About food and supplies?" asked one of the farmers. "We grow our own food," Amy replied. "We have everything we need to survive. This is our home." The human fleet was gathering at Kepler. More ships arrived every hour. Captain Morrison's USS Defiance was joined by the USS Vengeance, commanded by Captain Robert Taylor. The USS Freedom, led by Captain Sarah Johnson, brought a squadron of destroyers. Admiral Sullivan arrived on her flagship, the USS Resolution. She called a meeting of all ship commanders. "The aliens think they can starve us out," she said. "They're wrong. We're going to hit them hard and fast. We'll use every advantage we have." "What about the colonies?" asked Captain Taylor. The colonies will have to defend themselves for now. Our job is to break the blockade and defeat the alien fleet. Commander Linda Hayes and her frigate squadron were already practicing hit-and-run attacks. Her ships were small and fast. They could get close to the big alien ships and escape before the aliens could respond. Remember, she told her pilots, we're not trying to win a fair fight. We're trying to survive and do as much damage as possible. Dr. Carter was working on her secret weapon. She had found a way to disrupt the alien communication system, but it required getting very close to their command ship. I need a volunteer, she told Admiral Sullivan. Someone has to plant this device on the alien flagship. It's very dangerous. Major Tom Wilson stepped forward. He was a tough soldier who had fought in many battles. I'll do it, Doctor. My team is ready. You understand this is probably a one-way mission? Dr. Carter asked. We understand, Wilson said. If it helps win the war, we'll do it. On the Liberty, Ambassador Morgan was working with a secret group of alien sympathizers. Not all aliens supported the Galactic Council's decision to destroy humanity. There are species who think the Council is wrong, she told Captain Parker. They're sending us information about the alien battle plans. What kind of information? Parker asked. The Zephyrians want to attack immediately. The Krulin want to wait and let the blockade work. The Council is having trouble keeping the alliance together. This was good news. If the aliens started fighting among themselves, humanity might have a chance. The alien fleet was having problems. The different species did not trust each other. The Zephyrians thought the Krulin were cowards. The Krulin thought the Zephyrians were stupid. Admiral Thokmar was getting angry. We should attack now. Every moment we wait makes the humans stronger. Queen Commander Zakth disagreed. Patience is wisdom. Let them exhaust themselves. Then we strike. High Counselor Vexthara was losing control. The alliance was falling apart, but he could not show weakness. We will attack in 2 days, he decided. The ultimatum expires, and we will fulfill our promise. The human fleet was now assembled at Kepler. 847 ships faced 3,000 alien vessels. The odds were terrible, but humanity was ready. Captain Morrison looked out at the alien fleet through his ship's windows. There's so many of them, he said to his crew. But we're not giving up. No, sir, said his weapons officer. We'll fight them with everything we have. On the colonies, people were preparing for invasion. Amy Davis had organized the farmers into fighting groups. They had weapons and determination. If the aliens want our world, she told her father, they'll have to take it from us. Ben Davis was proud of his daughter. Your mother would be proud of you too, he said. You've become a real leader. Dr. Carter finished her quantum disruptor device. It was small but powerful. If Major Wilson could plant it on the alien flagship, it would blind their entire fleet. The device will disrupt their quantum communication network, she explained to Admiral Sullivan. Without coordination, the different alien species will have trouble working together. How long will it last? Admiral Sullivan asked. Maybe 20 minutes. That's our window to attack. Admiral Sullivan nodded. 20 minutes to win or lose everything. The countdown was almost over. In just hours, the alien ultimatum would expire. Both sides were ready for battle. On Earth, President Collins addressed the nation. We face our greatest challenge, she said, but we will not surrender. We will not abandon our people. We will fight for our freedom. The human fleet moved into battle formation. The USS Defiance led the charge, followed by hundreds of other ships. They were outnumbered, but they were fighting for their homes and families. The alien fleet also prepared for battle. 3,000 ships from 12 different species. They had superior technology and numbers. They thought victory was certain. but they did not understand the human spirit. They did not know that humans fight hardest when they have their backs to the wall. Ambassador Morgan sent a final message to the Galactic Council. Humanity will never surrender. We will fight for our right to exist freely in this galaxy. History will judge which side was right. The two massive fleets faced each other across the void of space. Thousands of ships, millions of people, all waiting for the battle that would decide humanity's fate. The ultimatum was about to expire. The largest space battle in galactic history was about to begin. In the distance, the stars waited silently to see which species would survive. The alien fleet opened fire first. Thousands of energy beams lit up the darkness of space. The first wave of attacks hit the human fleet like a hammer. Captain Morrison watched in horror as 3 human destroyers exploded in balls of fire. Alien weapons were more powerful than anything humanity had ever seen. All ships returned fire. Admiral Sullivan commanded from the USS Resolution. Don't let them get comfortable. The human fleet responded with kinetic weapons and nuclear missiles. The USS Defiance fired its main guns at a massive Zephyrian battleship. The shells punched through the alien's energy shields and tore holes in its hull. "Direct hit," shouted Morrison's weapons officer. "Their shields can't stop our solid ammunition." But for every alien ship that took damage, 2 human ships were destroyed. The odds were too great. The human fleet was being torn apart. Commander Linda Hayes led her frigate squadron in a desperate attack. Her small ships darted between the big alien vessels like angry hornets. "Target their weapon systems," she ordered. "We can't destroy them, but we can make them hurt." Her ships fired missiles at close range before speeding away. The aliens tried to follow, but the human ships were too fast. Dr. Carter watched the battle from her laboratory on Earth. Her quantum disruptor device was ready, but Major Wilson had to get close to the alien flagship first. "Wilson, are you in position?" she asked through the radio. "Almost there, Doctor," Wilson replied. His small stealth ship was hidden among the wreckage of destroyed vessels. "I can see their command ship. It's huge." The alien flagship was the size of a small city. High Counselor Vex Thara stood on its bridge, watching the battle with satisfaction. "The humans are fighting well," he told Admiral Thokmar, "but they cannot win." "They are more dangerous than we thought," the Zephyrian commander replied. "Their weapons are primitive but effective." Queen Commander Zack H. was not pleased. "My swarm ships are taking heavy losses. These humans fight like cornered animals." On New Dakota, the battle in space was just beginning. Amy Davis watched through a telescope as explosions lit up the sky. "The fleet is fighting," she told her father. "But there are so many alien ships." Ben Davis loaded his rifle. "The boys in space are doing their job. Now we have to do ours." Alien landing ships were approaching the planet. Hundreds of them, filled with soldiers ready to take over the human colony. "Everyone to defensive positions," Amy shouted. "Here they come." The first alien troops landed near the main settlement. They were tall creatures with 4 arms and thick armor. They thought the human farmers would be easy to defeat. They were wrong. Ben Davis and his neighbors opened fire from hidden positions. The aliens had better weapons, but the humans knew the ground. They used the farms and buildings for cover. "Keep firing," Amy yelled. "Don't let them get to the town." In space, the battle was getting worse for humanity. Captain Morrison's USS Defiance was badly damaged. Half his crew was dead or wounded. "Sir, we're losing power," his engineer reported. "The ship can't take much more." Morrison looked at the alien flagship in the distance. It was still untouched by the fighting. "Get Admiral Sullivan," he said. "John, your ship is falling apart," Admiral Sullivan said when she appeared on the screen. "Pull back and regroup." "No, ma'am." Morrison replied. "I have an idea." "Wilson, are you ready with that device?" "Ready and waiting, Captain," Wilson's voice came through the radio. Morrison made a decision that would change everything. All power to engines. "We're going to ram their flagship." "Captain, that's suicide." His weapons officer protested. "Maybe, but if Wilson can plant that device while we're attacking, it might give us a chance." The USS Defiance turned toward the alien flagship. The massive ship was surrounded by smaller vessels, but Morrison found a gap in their formation. "Full speed ahead," he ordered, "for humanity." The damaged battleship accelerated toward the alien command ship. Enemy fire tore at its hull, but Morrison held course. Major Wilson's stealth ship followed close behind. When the Defiance hit the alien flagship, Wilson would have seconds to plant Dr. Carter's device. Admiral Thokmar saw the human ship coming. "Destroy that ship," he yelled. "Don't let it reach us." But it was too late. The USS Defiance smashed into the alien flagship's hull. The explosion was enormous. Both ships were destroyed in the collision. Captain Morrison and his crew died instantly. But their sacrifice gave Wilson the chance he needed. "Device planted," Wilson reported. "Activating now." Dr. Carter's quantum disruptor came online. Suddenly, the alien fleet lost communication with each other. The different species could no longer coordinate their attacks. "What's happening?" Queen Commander Zacht demanded. "I can't contact the other ships. Communications are down," reported a Krulon technician. "The network is completely disrupted." Without coordination, the alien alliance began to fall apart. The Zephyrians attacked in one direction, while the Krulon went another way. The careful battle plan collapsed. Admiral Sullivan saw the opportunity. "All ships attack now. Hit them while they're confused." The human fleet, though smaller, pressed their advantage. They focused their fire on isolated alien ships. Without support from their allies, the aliens began to retreat. On New Dakota, Amy Davis led a counterattack against the alien landing force. The soldiers were powerful but confused. They had lost contact with their commanders. "Push them back," she yelled. "They don't know what to do." The human farmers and colonists fought with desperate courage. This was their home, and they would not give it up. Ben Davis shot 2 alien soldiers who were trying to flank his position. "That's for threatening my daughter," he shouted. Captain Hayes and her frigate squadron struck at the alien fleet's weak points. With their communications down, the aliens couldn't respond effectively. "Target their command ships," she ordered. "Make them pay for every mistake." The battle was turning in humanity's favor. The alien fleet was larger, but no longer organized. Ship after ship was destroyed or damaged, but the quantum disruptor wouldn't last forever. Dr. Carter watched the readings on her instruments. "The device is overloading," she reported. "We have maybe 5 more minutes before they restore communications." Admiral Sullivan knew this was humanity's only chance. "All ships, maximum effort. We need to break their fleet now." The human ships fought with everything they had. The USS Vengeance destroyed a Zephyrian cruiser. The USS Freedom led a squadron of destroyers against the Krulon swarm ships. High Counselor Vex Thara was trapped on his damaged flagship. The ship was losing power, and many systems were offline. "Get me Admiral Thokmar," he demanded. "I cannot reach him, Counselor," replied a technician. "All communications are still down." For the first time, Vex Thara looked worried. The humans were not supposed to be able to fight like this. On New Dakota, the alien landing force was retreating. Amy Davis and her militia had driven them back to their ships. "We did it, Dad," she called to Ben. "We beat them." "This is just the beginning," Ben replied. "The real battle is up there." He pointed to the sky, where explosions from the space battle lit up the darkness. the quantum disruptor finally failed. Alien communications were restored, but the damage was done. Their fleet was scattered, and many ships were destroyed. All ships regroup, Admiral Thokmar ordered. Reform the battle line, but it was too late. The human fleet had used their advantage well. The aliens were no longer winning. The largest space battle in galactic history was far from over. But humanity had proven they could fight. They had shown that courage and determination could overcome superior numbers. The war for humanity's freedom was just beginning. The alien fleet was in chaos. High Counselor Vextara was dead, killed when Captain Morrison's ship crashed into the flagship. Without their leader, the different alien species began to argue and fight among themselves. Admiral Thokmar tried to take command. All ships attack the humans, we can still win this. But Queen Commander Zakth disagreed. My ships are retreating. This battle is lost. The humans fight like demons. Coward. Thokmar roared. We have them outnumbered. Numbers mean nothing. If we cannot work together, Zakth replied. Her swarm ships began to withdraw from the battle. Admiral Sullivan watched the alien fleet falling apart. Many ships were already leaving. Others were fighting each other instead of the humans. All ships, press the attack, she ordered. Don't let them regroup. Captain Hayes led her frigate squadron in another strike. Her ships were fast and hit hard. The confused aliens couldn't coordinate their defense. Target their command ships. She yelled. Make them pay for every world they threatened. The USS Vengeance, now commanded by Captain Robert Taylor, destroyed 3 alien cruisers in quick succession. The USS Freedom led a group of destroyers against the retreating Krulon. Ships. On New Dakota, Amy Davis watched the battle through her telescope. The explosions in space were getting smaller and more distant. I think we're winning, she told her father. Ben Davis was treating a wounded neighbor. The man had been shot during the alien landing attack, but he would survive. The fleet is doing their job, Ben said, but we're not done yet. There might be more alien troops coming. Amy nodded. She had organized the colonial militia well. They were ready for another attack if it came, but the alien ground forces were also retreating. Without support from their fleet, they couldn't hold their positions on the planet. Fall back to the landing ships? The alien commander ordered. We cannot win without air support. Dr. Carter was monitoring the battle from her laboratory on Earth. Her quantum disruptor had worked perfectly. The aliens had lost coordination at the crucial moment. The device exceeded all expectations, she reported to Admiral Sullivan. We disrupted their entire command network. Your invention saved us, Doctor, Admiral Sullivan replied. Without it, we would have lost. But the battle was not over yet. Admiral Thokmar was gathering the remaining alien ships for one final attack. We still outnumber them, he told his captains. One more push and we can break their fleet. About 800 alien ships remained. They were still more than the human fleet, but they were no longer working together effectively. Captain Hayes saw the aliens reforming their battle line. Admiral, they're coming back for another attack. Let them come, Admiral Sullivan said. We'll be ready. The human fleet was badly damaged. Many ships were destroyed or crippled, but the crews were determined to fight to the end. This is our moment, Admiral Sullivan announced to all ships. We're fighting for our homes, our families, our freedom. We will not lose. The alien fleet attacked again. But this time, the humans were ready. They had learned from the first battle. They knew how to fight the aliens now. Commander Hayes, who had been promoted to captain during the battle, led the counterattack. Her ships moved in perfect formation, hitting the aliens where they were weakest. All squadrons, follow my lead, she ordered. We're going to break their line. The human ships fought with desperate courage. Every captain knew that this was the last chance. If they lost now, humanity would be enslaved forever. The USS Resolution, Admiral Sullivan's flagship, took heavy damage. But Sullivan refused to retreat. "Keep fighting," she yelled. "We're not giving up." The tide of battle was turning. The alien fleet was losing more ships than the humans. Admiral Thokmar's forces were falling apart. "Sir, we've lost over half." "Our ships," reported a Zephyrian officer. "The other species are retreating." Thokmar looked around the battlefield. His proud fleet was broken. The humans had fought better than anyone expected. "Signal retreat," he said quietly. "We cannot win this battle." But Admiral Sullivan was not done. "All ships, pursue the enemy. Don't let them escape." The human fleet chased the retreating aliens. They destroyed dozens more ships before the aliens could jump to safety. Finally, the space around Kepler was quiet. Burning wreckage floated where the great battle had been fought. The humans had won. "Admiral," Captain Hayes reported, "the alien fleet is gone. We control the system." Admiral Sullivan felt relief wash over her. "What are our casualties?" "We lost 215 ships, but we saved the colonies." It was a heavy price, but humanity had survived. They had faced the greatest threat in their history, and won. On New Dakota, Amy Davis hugged her father. "We did it, Dad. We really did it." Ben smiled. "Your mother would be so proud. You led these people like a real soldier." The colonial militia had fought off 3 alien landing attempts. The farmers and miners had proven they could defend their homes. A few days later, something unexpected happened. Admiral Thokmar's ship approached the human fleet under a flag of truce. "Admiral Sullivan," came his transmission, "I request permission to speak with you." Sullivan was surprised, but agreed to meet. The alien admiral came aboard the USS Resolution with a small escort. Thokmar was even bigger in person. His 4 arms and thick armor made him look very dangerous. But his voice was respectful. "Admiral Sullivan," he said, "I have come to offer surrender terms." Sullivan was shocked. "You want to surrender?" "The Galactic Council is broken," Thokmar explained. "Vexthera is dead. The Alliance has fallen apart. Half the species have already gone home." "What are you proposing?" "A new agreement. The Zephyrian Empire recognizes humanity's right to exist and expand freely. We offer a treaty of non-aggression." This was more than Sullivan had hoped for. "What about the other species?" "Most will follow our lead. The Krulin have already agreed. Others will join when they see we have made peace." Ambassador Morgan, who had survived the battle despite her injuries, was brought in to handle the negotiations. She was still recovering, but insisted on participating. "We need guarantees," she told Thokmar. "Humanity will never accept another ultimatum like this one." "Agreed," the alien admiral said. "The old council's ways were wrong. Your species has proven its right to be free." The negotiations took several days. But finally, a new treaty was signed. Humanity would have equal status with other galactic civilizations. Dr. Carter's technology became the foundation for new advances in human space travel and defense. Earth's fleet was rebuilt with better ships and weapons. "We're not just survivors anymore," Dr. Carter told Admiral Sullivan. "We're a major power in the galaxy." The war had changed everything. Humanity was no longer a minor species that could be pushed around. They had earned respect through their courage and determination. Captain Hayes was promoted to admiral and put in charge of expanding the human fleet. She oversaw the construction of new colonies and defensive stations. "We'll never be caught unprepared again," she vowed. "Humanity will be strong enough to defend itself." On New Dakota, Ben and Amy Davis worked together to rebuild their farm. The corn had been damaged in the fighting, but it could be replanted. "Are you worried about more aliens coming?" Amy asked her father. Ben smiled. No, after what we did too. The last ones, I think they'll leave us alone. A year later, a new galactic assembly was formed. Unlike the old council, this one gave equal representation to all species. Humanity took its place as a founding member. Ambassador Morgan, now fully recovered, represented Earth at the first meeting. She stood at the podium and addressed the assembled aliens. The old ways of domination and ultimatums are over, she said. Today we begin a new era of cooperation and mutual respect. Admiral Sullivan visited the memorial built for Captain Morrison and his crew. Their sacrifice had turned the tide of the battle. They died so that humanity could be free, she said at the dedication ceremony. We will never forget their courage. The colonies flourished under the new peace. Trade routes reopened. New worlds were settled. Humanity spread across the galaxy as free people. Ben Davis lived to see his grandchildren playing in the fields of New Dakota. The corn grew tall and green under alien suns. But it was human determination that had made it possible. Amy became the governor of New Dakota. She often told the story of the great battle to young people who had not lived through it. Remember, she would say, freedom is never free. It must be fought for and defended. That's what makes us human. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humanity would not be conquered or controlled. They would fight for their freedom, no matter the odds. In the end, it was not superior technology or numbers that won the war. It was the human spirit, the refusal to surrender, the determination to be free. The stars belonged to humanity now, not because they had taken them by force, but because they had earned the right to be there. The war was over. Humanity had won.